Hey, what's going on, friends and theme park fans? This is Silver Stix here for another Stix Top 6, where I count down the best and worst that theme parks have to offer. Alrighty folks, at long last, it's finally time for us to revisit the family fun adventure park, Legoland Florida. Last time we were here, we talked about the best attractions you can find around the park, but today we'll be doing the exact opposite and looking at the top 6 worst Legoland Florida attractions. I do need to point out before we start though that none of these attractions are necessarily straight up horrible. I'll still even hit them all up from time to time, but after a lot of thought and consideration, these are simply the experiences that I feel just don't stack up in comparison to everything else. The lower end of the fun spectrum, if you will. But regardless, this is all just my own opinions, and I mean absolutely no harm at all if your favorite attractions end up on the list. This is all just for fun and for the sake of talking about an awesome theme park with you guys. So, with all that out of the way, let's not waste another second, and let's just jump right in to today's countdown. Starting off our list today in the LEGO Movie world, we'll be able to set sail and defend against the Duplo invaders while getting soaking wet in the process in the Battle of Bricksburg. I went ahead and put this one at number 6 because I do think the theming is pretty great, even though I thought it was better when it was Quest for Chi, but whatever, and being able to take a ride on this on a hot Florida day is pretty nice to help you cool off. But honestly, that's about where the positives end for me and the negatives begin. For instance, the handle you have to crank to shoot your water cannon absolutely kills your arm. You come off this ride feeling like you just lifted weights non-stop for 5 minutes. And as I mentioned earlier, by the time you exit this ride, you look like you just jumped into a pool. And yes, for younger kids, or maybe if it's really hot outside, this could be a good thing. But during the months when it's not hot, or for people that don't have an extra set of clothes, this attraction is basically just off limits to you. The actual quote-unquote game of this ride, where you shoot the targets, isn't even fun. It doesn't prevent water from being splashed on you, it just makes more, and that's if it even does anything at all. Honestly, you'll find that a lot of things don't like to work on this ride. Even the water cannons can often jam up, and you'll be left just kinda standing there with nothing to do. But whatever, one final little complaint, the load and unload station for the ride boats is insanely cold. I know that sounds weird, but after you just spent 5 minutes basically underwater, why, might I ask, would you ever want to have the fans and AC cranking cold enough that penguins could operate the ride? Can somebody explain this one to me, please? To be honest, the entire ride experience doesn't really make any sense to me, so if you could explain it all, that'd be really great. It's bland, it's lackluster, it doesn't compare at all to the rest of the LEGO Movie world, and it is just not worth your time. Making our way over to the Imagination Zone, we'll be able to find the laziest excuse for a theme park attraction that you could possibly imagine, with the Warner Brothers Game Zone. This is an indoor area where anyone can go and play the latest and greatest LEGO video games. And that's it. It's not offensive or anything, but it just kind of feels empty. It's sort of like when you go to Walmart and you get to try out the game displays. It's like a time waster. But the difference is you're not in a Walmart, you're in a theme park. Why would you need to waste time playing what essentially amounts to a bunch of demos because you're not going to finish them and you're not going to take them home afterwards either, and if you do end up buying the game once you're home, then why would you need to play it in a theme park anyway? I mean seriously, I don't get this. There's even handheld games you can play in the game zone? Like, what? If you want to play a handheld game at a theme park, why would you want to be indoors in this weird office building? Wouldn't you want to experience the Legoland atmosphere while you're playing your game on the go? I'm sorry, am I the only one asking these questions? Am I the crazy one? I see theme parks as a way to escape my average everyday life and do stuff that I can only do at a theme park. If I'm going to cough up a small fortune to spend my day at this place, I'm not just going to waste it on video games or things I could already do from the comfort of my own home. Maybe I'm alone on this and this is all just my own opinion, but I personally just find this entire area pretty worthless. Flying over to the Lego Kingdoms section of the park, we'll be able to climb aboard a mysterious wooden train to the Himalayas to take on Merlin's Challenge. This off-the-shelf average flat track ride takes you in a bumpy circle for about a minute and 40 seconds with hardly any theming at all besides the train itself and a statue of Merlin in the middle that doesn't even move. The speed and motion of this ride make for a stomach-turning experience that anyone who gets sick easily should definitely watch out for. I have seen quite a few people come off this ride wobbling and ready to find a trash can to puke in. Just saying. This really is nothing more than your typical county fair attraction, just used to take up space and clear up crowd levels a bit, and even the people that don't find this ride bad certainly wouldn't say it's one of the best in the park. I guess if you're walking around and see this ride at around a 5-minute wait time or it's a walk-on or something, then there's really no reason to turn it down, but other than that specific situation, I'd just say you're better off walking right past it without a second thought. Floating on over to Lego City, we'll be able to captain our own Lego ship in the very interesting boating school. This ride actually allows you to take full control and steer this boat down a Lego-themed river, which on paper sounds incredible, but in practice kinda flops. There's way too many boats on the water at once, and people won't stop crashing into walls or each other, essentially creating barricades of people. The theming and displays are so minuscule they're hardly worth mentioning at all. The boats move slowly with no cover on them, so you're just kinda sweating out in the Florida sun. And assuming you had the perfect run-through, with nobody else on the course on a beautiful windy day, the ride still only lasts about 4 minutes. The length of this attraction just sort of varies depending on how many people barricade you off from moving forward, and in that case it can go up to around 8 minutes. Whether you see that as a positive or negative though, I guess that's kinda up to you to decide. Personally, there's just one too many annoyances with this attraction that in the end I just don't even find it worth going on. I can definitely see why some people might defend it, but it's just not my cup of tea. Falling back into the imagination zone, we'll come across the Kid Power Towers. But before anyone screams in the comments, OMG, it says kid right in the name, it's for kids, you can't say anything about it, OMG, you have to be at least 48 inches tall to ride these by yourself. Otherwise, you have to be accompanied by someone 14 years or older, and those same people 14 years or older can ride no matter what, making this a family ride, if anything at all. But truthfully, I'm not even sure if I would call this a ride. It's 2 seats connected to a wire that you pull yourself up until you reach the top and let yourself fall back down. It's kinda more of an exercise machine than a theme park attraction. The towers that the seats are connected to do spin, super slow, but I mean they do spin, so that's something I guess. The ride lasts a little over a minute, so you're only going to get about 4 or 5 drops in at most. Honestly, a majority of the ride is just hoisting yourself to the top, so I guess if you're trying to burn some calories, this is probably the ride for you. But for everyone else, it's pretty avoidable. I don't understand why these towers are in the imagination zone, I don't know what they have to do with imagination at all, and in general, I'm just not a fan. Unless you're a young kid with a parent who's willing to just pull you both up the tower while you get to enjoy the fun falling part, then I'd say the Kid Power Towers are more than worthy of just skipping right over on any trip to the park. Speeding back over to Lego City for our #1 worst attraction today, Lego City Rescue Academy. This attraction is really weird. Your family or group that you're visiting the park with will man one of 4 vehicles, either police cars or fire trucks, and you have to push down this lever in the middle strenuously to make the vehicle get to the other side of the track, where you then have to get out of the vehicle and crank a lever just like Battle of Bricksburg to spray water at these fire targets on the side of a building. Then when the target goes away, you get back in the vehicle and crank yourself back to the other side of the track, and whoever gets there first wins. And that's the whole ride. You know, usually when you explain a bad ride concept, it at least sounds good as an idea, but I gotta give it up to Rescue Academy, it really doesn't even sound fun. And trust me, it's not fun in person either. The ride cars break constantly, so the employees have to push them down the track. The entire experience usually ends within a minute at most, and once again, as I mentioned for several other attractions on this list, this whole ride is just exercise. Listen up, Legoland, I don't know what you're trying to tell me about myself, but Florida reaches 100 degrees regularly, and when I pay for a theme park, I'm looking to relax and have fun, not exercise and feel like I'm at the world's hottest gym. I guess I've seen some young kids find some enjoyment from this attraction, but for just about anyone else, I would just recommend avoiding this one like the plague. Alrighty folks, that's gonna about wrap up my Stix Top 6 Worst Legoland Florida Attractions. I really hope you all enjoyed the video. If you did, please consider leaving a like, comment, subscribe, and share the video around. It'd mean a lot and help out a ton. Also, leave in the comments what you think are the worst attractions at Legoland, or just any Legoland stories you might have, so we could start a conversation down there. But anyway gang, with all that being said, this is Silver Stix signing out. Hope you have a great rest of your day, theme park fans. Peace.